at harm. I am Supergirl.
Hey guys, just finished watching Supergirl Season 3, Episode 17, Trinity. This episode was a pretty good episode. It feels almost like a before last episode type thing, but yet it's episode 17 of 23 episodes, so we still have a few more episodes to go. We have 2 more episodes and we had 20 and another 3, so that's, we have another 5 episodes left, so that's going to be pretty cool. So the episode starts off with Supergirl and the DEO questioning Lena, and the Legion's also there after they found out in last week's episode that Lena has been working on Sam Ares, who is Rain, and reveal it, to everyone that Samantha Ares is Rain and stuff. The World Killers start to kill their human. Their humanity inside of them, so their human personalities type thing, and one of them is able to kill it right away, which is kind of annoying. It would have been better, especially with so many episodes left, it would have been better to see them to build it up a bit better, maybe have 1 episode each to killing off these world killers rather than building Rain up to being, it's going to be interesting to see where things go at the end of this episode with just Rain left, but it would have been better to just have 1 episode each, all 3 of them in each episode, all 3 world killers in it, but have 1 episode lose 1, and then another episode you lose 1, and then you have and stuff, and it would build things up a little bit more better, and it would have been more characterizations for either it and making it a little bit more of an impact when they go, rather than just kind of, oh, she's gone, oh, you want us to kill her humanity side? Boom, gone, that's it. There was no kind of feel for it. It wasn't like, oh, whatever. There was like, oh, that's okay. Don't really care because didn't really feel for the character. So if they had built it up a little bit better, we would feel for the character a little bit more. And 23 episodes is enough to build up the character. So wish they had done that and build up the character a lot more rather than just having him go like that. So I feel like even Julia, we haven't seen her throughout the whole episode. We haven't seen her since her first episode. She was appeared in that 1 episode a while back. We haven't seen her since, and we really didn't get to know her. So it would have been cool to see her and the other 2 kind of built up throughout the whole season, just like Samantha Ares. Not just Samantha. Have the 2 of them both build up. But, maybe obviously you have Samantha Ares build up the most, and she's connected to the characters and stuff. But it would have been cool to follow the other ones and see where they're going to go. And have just some sort of characterization and some sort of development with them, so you get to feel for them. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to feel with them as much as Samantha Ares because she's connected to the characters and all that stuff, and you really had her built up. But I think it would have been better just to build them up a little bit more, so that these, at least for a few more episodes, at least to diving deep into them, at least for 1 episode, giving them 1 episode each to die in, rather than, just boom, done, and then next one, 2 in 1 episode type thing. It just feels a little rushed. The World Killers start to kill off humanity. The solar eclipse starts affecting Supergirl. Her powers are going, and she enters the World Killer's mind, which they end up calling the Mind Valley. Supergirl, Alex, and Lena go inside the Mind Valley thanks to Brainiac. Samantha Ares is starting to forget her daughter's name, and then she's able to remember it, starts writing it down and stuff. That was pretty cool with that, dealing with her daughter and stuff. Supergirl asked Guardians to go check if Lena still has any kryptonite left from when she was testing. She said she had kryptonite left over from Lex Luthor's kryptonite that she used to help to study World Killer Rain type thing, and that was really an interesting idea. James ends up going, but he lies and doesn't really check the vault. And then she asks Mon-El to keep her inside the mind if everything goes wrong, which he never really has to do at any point. He does tell him, oh no, don't take Supergirl out, but he doesn't really say. There's no point where and it's refreshing when the character says that, when the main character says, oh, don't take me out until the thing, which is a cliched thing to say at this point. It was refreshing to see it not really happen, even though it kind of did happen. He said, no, I said, leave it. It would have been kind of predictable and cliche if there had been a moment where Lena had been taken out and Alex had been taken out and Supergirl had been left to be the last one there. That would have been a bit cliche. I'd rather see a moment where, Supergirl says, oh, if everything goes wrong, keep me in there. See that, have that moment, because it makes sense with the characters say that, but they don't actually have that moment happen, then that becomes less predictable. I think, I think that's the way to do it. rather than actually having that moment. No, take her out. Everyone's saying take her out, and the one person she told to say keep her in said keep her in, which I don't know why she told Mon-El. And I still hate that when they just go, oh, I need to talk to you, and she wants to obviously talk away from Saturn Girl, and they just talk a few feet away. They just step a few feet away than where she was, like just across the room. Like, it made no sense. Just leave this freaking room if you want to talk to someone. Whispering, it doesn't work, and in TV shows, they don't really whisper. They never really whisper to each other when they're supposed to telling secrets to someone keeping something from someone in the same room. It's always terrible the way they do that. So just get out of the same room and change that. So that was kind of annoying. Wynn ends up giving Alex a new costume and a new gun. I thought she was going to end up becoming a character from the comics or something that I didn't hear about or anything like that. But no, he gives her kind of like some sort of like, the costume is not really a costume, it's just another black costume that she's wearing type thing. Maybe some sort of bit of armor and stuff, but nothing too fancy. And it's mainly just the glove and the gun that is kind of like a space gun, which she already has her space gun, if I'm not mistaken, unless she's lost it. I forget the last time we saw it, but she had a space gun. Where did she pick the space gun? Oh, did she get the space gun from one of the crossovers? Which was only in the last crossover. But she got a space gun. I think that space gun that was left over from the Earth X crossover, if I'm not mistaken. Unless she had that space gun from a long time ago. I remember Maggie saying that she wanted one. But I forget what happened to that thing. Maybe she lost it or something. That's why Wynn made her a new one that shoots kind of looks like a fire blast, looks like a solar blast. It's unclear what it is, so we'll have to wait and see what it looks like. It looks pretty cool the way they use it. I just doubt that when she's rapid firing it, it's going to be the same every time as the way it is at this point. Hopefully it does stay the same, because it needs to stay consistent and not just be a cheap laser pointer and make it look cool type thing, rather than put some money into the special effect to it and keep that special effect up every single time she uses the gun, rather than just a generic cheap laser effect. And then Lena ends up using, they're in the ship trying to shoot and stuff, and Lena ends up flying the Legion ship, which I understand Lena's super smart and all that stuff. She's a Luthor and all, but this is a 30,000, this is a century-year older. This technology is nowhere near to be advanced, and it's set up for Brainiac, who's by far way smarter than any human could ever be. So it just doesn't make sense as to why she was able to control the ship. I understand, that ship might be set up so that Mon-El and Saturn Girl could learn it, but Mon-El spent 7 years in the future probably learning this. He probably spent a whole year learning this ship. It just didn't make sense for Lena to be able to pick it up and learn it. It was just cliche and kind of terrible for them to do that. So that moments were cliche. So this episode was good. It was just kind of these moments in there. They were just kind of like, it was cliched moments that kind of ruined it. But the episode on its own in general was okay, giving it an 8. Mon-El, there's a fight scene between Mon-El, Stargirl, and they're flying and fighting the World Killer, the one who killed herself right away, who killed her humanity right away type thing. And they're flying around, the one who was doing the stabbing in the last episode, actually, with her pestilence and stuff. And the flying for Mon-El, and flying for Mon-El, Stargirl, and Pestilence and stuff was just so terrible. It was bad. It was probably really bad because they were in a dark area and stuff, and it was just terrible. It looked super CGI and super fake. It didn't work whatsoever. They need to bring up the CGI budget definitely on this show, because it's kind of really terrible. The other two world killers end up killing each other. Samantha, Pestilence, and the other one, the screaming girl one there, Julia. They end up killing each other. So again, like I said, with that, it would have been better to see them each die in their own episode. The killing off of their humanity, having that happen in one of their episodes, rather than having it happen in like this. I think this episode would have been a good episode to have it push it off a little bit further. And before this, we should have had the 2 episodes where both the 2 other humanity sides of them end up just dying, and a whole episode where that one character is fighting, and then dies at the end inside, and then it becomes full World Killer. And then the next episode is the next one who becomes fighting, dies, ends at the end of the other one. Like, that would have been a really interesting idea to see that, rather than rather than it just kind of building it up and making more tension as to when it, how is it going to happen, what's going to happen to Samantha Aries. Whereas this, since it happened so fast and these characters had no characterization, no nothing, it really didn't feel anything to it, and you really don't see that there's going to you don't see that, oh, could happen to the same one. It's unclear whether or not they're gonna kill off Samantha Aries just because they've been building her up, but they obviously killed these other guys up because they didn't really put any time into writing a character for these two. So it doesn't give anything. There's no punch to it, where it would have been if they'd built them up a little bit more. And then the other powers end up going inside of Rain. That's what's revealed in the trailer for next week's episode. James ends up telling Lena he's the Guardian, that he broke into her place and was going to check the vault, but ended up not checking the vault and lying that he checked the vault. So Supergirl thinks that there's no more kryptonite, but Lena ends up confessing that she actually made the kryptonite. So I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens with the made kryptonite. Hopefully it's still there's something different to it, because I hate the idea of people just being able to make kryptonite, because the whole idea is that was it beginning of this season or beginning of last season or end of last season? Last time we saw Superman, he took off with all the DEO's stash of kryptonite. So, the idea of just people bringing up kryptonite and using it a lot as to doing it, I like having kryptonite in the show, is obviously, I think it's cool, but I just don't like the idea of anyone just being able to make up kryptonite and having kryptonite everywhere. I mean, in Smallville, kryptonite was just everywhere. It was too accessible, But in this, we haven't seen it in a long time, so I just don't like the idea of that being, of them being anyone able to just have a recipe for kryptonite and make it. There you go. She can become infected and stuff, and I see how Lena did it and all that stuff, and how Supergirl's going to react to it. But it's just kind of. Hopefully it's some sort of different kryptonite. Maybe it's one of the different colors of kryptonite that we haven't seen before, because so far we've seen green kryptonite, red kryptonite, and I think that's about it. So maybe it could be anything. It could be the pink kryptonite, which would be quite funny to see that. To see pink kryptonite, and then it would be quite interesting to see different versions of the black kryptonite, the gray kryptonite, silver kryptonite. I remember those all from Smallville. Blue kryptonite would be quite interesting. That just turns off her powers, but just turns off her powers, doesn't hurt her, doesn't kill her, just turns her human, so she can bleed, she can do whatever. If she ever needs to pass for as human, she could just wear a little bit in a pocket type thing, and she could pass as human and give a blood sample. Although it's unclear if her blood sample would come back as a human, or if it would, still be detectable as Kryptonian, but I imagine it would. So all in all, I just definitely can't wait to see what happens with this. I just hope that it's not actual regular green kryptonite, and I think this is an appropriate opportunity for it to be a different version of kryptonite, because clearly Supergirl and the World Killers are not exactly the same, because Supergirl, when the eclipse was happening, had no powers, but they still had their powers, so there's something different between there. So if this is blue kryptonite, and that really affects, hurts the World Killers more than Supergirl, then it could be interesting to play with that, and adding a new bringing in a new kryptonite to the show would be quite fun to see this. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Which kryptonite would you like to see this kryptonite that Lena made? Because I don't remember actually seeing it anywhere, other than the fact that she had the electrodes on there, and she had the force field that was holding Rain in. So maybe that force field is some sort of has powered by the kryptonite or something. But I don't remember seeing any of it really during any of those shots when we were seeing her being tested by Lena. So hopefully it is some sort of different color kryptonite, and we can get a different version added to the show, so that it's not the same killing kryptonite when that kills them right away, and it's not too easy for them to make kryptonite. If it made this kryptonite that maybe blue turns off her powers, doesn't kill her, that could be interesting to see that, and that could be interesting to seeing as to which one would be a little bit more easier to make. Could be quite fun to seeing that. I think also the orange kryptonite, was it orange or yellow, ended up completely taking away their powers permanently at one touch. That would be interesting to play with, but at the same time, with no other Kryptonians around other than Clark, it would be difficult to play with that without having without taking away her powers permanently type thing. So it's going to be cool to see is what version of kryptonite that is. Hopefully it is a different version rather than just the green, because I feel like we've seen that one before. We've seen the red. We need to see something new for now, and one of the kind of far out ones would be quite funny to play with. Maybe I was thinking the pink kryptonite that makes them gay would be an interesting thing to see how they would tackle a story like that modernly. It would be quite interesting to see, because I think it'd be quite especially with Alex and stuff, could be quite interesting to see that. Maybe, you know, she accidentally gets in contact with the pink kryptonite and ends up falling for, ends up hijacking one of Alex's girlfriends at one point. That could be a funny episode. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I think it could be interesting to see as to what different type of kryptonite this could be. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Season 3, episode 17, Trinity, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.